What I'm about to make today has been on my list of things to make for quite a while. I've just been waiting for the most perfect moment to make it, as it's something that you make for special occasions, such as the end of the year. So happy 2022, we're making the Croquembouche.
Ah! Bon appétit.
You know, it is a French dessert, and I was crossing my fingers that it would be in one of my Julia Child cookbooks that I own. And what to my wondering eyes do appear but the Croquembouche, which is on page 359 of the French chef. So the New Year's show, oh, perfect timing. Here's a splendid edible centerpiece for your New Year's table, the Croquembouche. Row upon row of tiny cream puffs mounted into a conical tower and glittering with caramel. It's fun to assemble and is guaranteed to bring gasps of delight from your guests. Which I do not have any guests today, which that's not gonna stop me, and it never has stopped me in the past. We're gonna make it anyway. Without the guests, pretend. I am making a freaking tower of cream puffs. That's what it is. What I need for that is 70 puffs. I need 70 cream puffs for my Croquembouche, which is supposed to be 16 inches high, which is no problem. It's not a big deal. I need to start with the choux pastry. It's a pâte à choux. I mean, this is pretty great. I didn't have to go to the grocery store today for any of this because it's all stuff I already had in the kitchen, with one exception. I only had bread flour, and I was supposed to use all-purpose flour. I just did a quick Google search here, and for a choux pastry, bread flour makes it more sturdy and holds the shape better. 180 grams, which is 1.5 cups. This is 9 tablespoons of butter, which is 1 stick plus a tablespoon. 2 teaspoons of sugar.
Is 8.25 grams.
There you go. Just a little pinch of salt. 5 to 6 eggs. 1.5 cups of water, which is around 354 milliliters. And of course, my favorite saucepan. That's what we need for our 70 cream puffs right here, all of this stuff. So add the water, the butter, the salt, and the sugar, and bring it to a boil. Okay, once the butter is melting, water is boiling, I'm gonna turn off the heat. Add in the flour, stir like a son of a bitch, mix until it leaves the sides of the pan clean, and a film begins on the bottom of the pan. Yeah, and you can kind of like lift it up and it forms into a shape like that.
To offset the pastry.
To offset the pastry?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Off the heat. This is now called a panade. Now make a depression in the center of your hot panade with your spoon. She says preferably use 5 eggs, and if you need an extra one, well then I got that covered. I'm only gonna try to use 5 eggs. I'm just gonna go for it here. So first egg in. Of course the egg can't cook in here, which it has on me in the past. It's not gonna today because this has been off the heat for a little amount of time, so it's not gonna cook this egg, I hope. No, it is kind of cooking. I should have waited. Actually, you know what? I think I dodged a bullet there. That happened to me last time too. It's just like, wait till it cools off a bit. I can't remember how many eggs I've added. 1, 2, 3, 4. The last egg. In you go. So whether or not you add the 6th egg depends on the consistency of the pastry. If it is too soft, it will spread out when formed. Test by lifting up a mass of the paste in your spoon and it should hold its shape. Plop on a plate and it should hold its shape. It should hold its shape. Use it while it's still warm or it becomes too stiff. I've been really on a roll with the piping bags lately. These weren't in my good books right now. I'd probably go with the soup spoon option, but I'm feeling this. Wrap this up nice and tight. I don't think I need a tip on this. I'm just gonna cut this right off. I need my 2 largest baking pans. Start with this. Parchment paper or my baking mat. Okay, so 1 inch in diameter and 1 inch high. Don't go crazy, don't go crazy. Okay, next. Pipe these along the sheet until I run out of dough. I don't know if I should be concerned about these little hats that these things are wearing. It's like little Hershey Kisses kind of look to it. Moving right along here. Things are going very smoothly right now. I hope these things don't expand all into one ginormous cream puff. That's the thing I'm thinking about right now. So I can lift these up and I can just move them however I please. It's like a game of checkers with this choux pastry. It's fantastic. There's supposed to be 1.5 inches space between each one. That's a total of 50 cream puff pastry dough things. That's all I can make unless I go to the store and get more eggs, which I'm not gonna go and do. I'm happy with 50 because 70 seems insane for me. I mean, if the other people were coming over, we could talk, but once they cool off, they become very like pliable and moldable, and it's kind of like Play-Doh, which is great, but also kind of didn't really need the piping bag, did I, if I'm just gonna do this. I need an egg glaze. So I'm gonna take an egg that I just butchered in opening it, beat it together with half a teaspoon of cold water. Paint the tops of the puff with the egg glaze, pushing them into shape if necessary. Little palmful, that's just doing the job quite nicely. Palmful of egg. Any egg falls onto the surface, I just lift them up and clean that up a bit because it's gonna prevent them from rising. 425°F initially. I gotta bake these on the lower and top part of the oven. For how long? 20 minutes to start. Okay, so after 30 minutes, I gotta turn the heat down to 350, and I'm just gonna rotate these, and then I'm gonna do a little switcheroo with the pans. So after 10 minutes, I'm gonna just turn the oven off and then open the door like that and just let them cool. So I can easily transform the pâte à choux recipe into a pastry cream filling. 3 tablespoons of butter, half a cup, 100 milliliters of water. Since this is a sweet dessert, I think I should add some sugar, even though she says nothing about the kind. Half a tablespoon or something, I don't know. Let's bring this to a boil over here. Okay, once that comes to a boil, I'm gonna turn the heat down. I'm gonna add in this half a cup, 60 grams of flour. It's no longer sticking to the sides. There's a bit of a film on the bottom of the pan. Kind of create a well in there. Okay, where's my egg? Last egg I have on hand before I have to go to a store. 1 egg. Okay, since I didn't wait for this thing to cool again, I have to stir this egg like a son of a bitch because it's gonna cook if I don't. Oh no, did I make mashed potatoes? I will need 2 to 3 tablespoons of milk. 1, 2, 3. Okay, bring that to a simmer. I need to add a little more milk. Thin it out to my desired consistency. Add a tablespoon of sugar. I'm supposed to add 2 tablespoons of sugar, but I just added 1 because I already added 1 earlier, remember? Oh, I only added half a tablespoon then. Okay, so another and a half a tablespoon. How is this a filling? It's still pretty damn thick, so I'm gonna add a little more milk, another tablespoon of sugar, just a little bit of vanilla. Take it off the heat. Here we go. These have cooled off. Pretty sweet. This looks really nice. So I'm not gonna add all these shells with the filling because once you do so, after a few hours, these will become soggy. So I don't need 50 cream puffs, you know what I mean? Like I just don't need it. So it's gonna be the illusion that they're all filled with filling, but in reality, it's only gonna be this amount. These will all be filling-less. Easiest way to fill the puff is with a pastry bag. So with haste, I decided to not add a piping bag nozzle to this, which I feel like I should have. Let me just correct course here really quickly. What's a good piping bag nozzle? Mission impossible that into the tip of the piping bag. I'm hoping I could just jam this right through. Let's go for it. I think I need like a knife or something. Shove the knife right through there, give it a little wiggle. Fill it up. Okay, we got ourselves a cream puff. 1 done. Fill it up until you can't no more, and it's full. I need to make a caramel. Okay. In my favorite cleaned out saucepan, I'm gonna add 2 cups of sugar, which is 400 grams, 2 tablespoons of corn syrup, 2/3 cup, 150 milliliters of water. Excuse me. Bring this to a boil. Once the sugar has completely dissolved, I'm gonna add the lid for 3 to 4 minutes. Rising steam will condense on cover, drop down sides of the pan, and wash off sugar crystals. Remove the lid when the bubbles have become thick. Continue boiling several minutes more until the syrup has turned amber. Swirl pan slowly as syrup darkens into a golden caramel brown. I'm happy with that. I think it would be incredibly wise for me to get this out of this really hot pot and into some other thing, because it's gonna burn if it doesn't, right? I think. Where's the freaking... Ow! This stuff is really... Did I push this too far? Julia says to use a conical, like, shaped container that I can wrap these things around and then up into, like, my cone shape. I don't have the container, and I don't even really think it's that necessary. I think I'm just gonna do this by eye. I got this nice gold tray. This is gonna be where I build my little thingamajig. Let's get all the cream puffs over here, the whole family. I have a feeling I dunk this. That caramel is kind of smelling kind of burnt, and it kind of tastes kind of burnt. And it is like molten lava. This thing is still cooking inside. It's like, look at that. Look at the smoke coming out of that. I had to redo the caramel. It was the right call. All right, so I'm gonna dip my first one in, cement it into the ground. Start with the big ones. Big ones go first, yeah. Ha! A burn on a burn. A burn on a burn.
Burn on a burn.
Cover the top with caramel. This is how I'm gonna do it. Like that, like that. And then quickly add the next layer. But lean them inward. Just keep building something out of nothing. Start with the ones that haven't been filled with the cream. Is this all I have? Wow, these are going fast. Okay, it makes sense now that if you had 70, you would get a lot more bang for your buck. Keep going until you run out. Caramel hardened up, so I added it to a dish of simmering water, thinking that it would like loosen it up and make it runny again, but that doesn't really seem to be the case. I have to make even more syrup yet again. Also, I wanted to add a piece on the very top like that. So I had to cut one out. Spoon and dribble lines over the entire croquembouche. And then dip a fork into the caramel and wave it around. Wave that fork around until this whole thing is covered in some sugary cobweb of love. Happy New Year! Where do I even, right here? I don't know which one to grab. This one, right here. Croquembouche means something that crunches in the mouth. So that is all I have today. That is all I have this year. Thank you to all of you who have tuned in for 2021. I appreciate every single one of you. Even the ones that dislike, you can't even see the dislike button anymore. So supporting the show over at patreon.com/antichef means a lot to me. So if you want to head over there for more details, please be my guest. This was Jamie and Julia. Bon appetit. Au revoir.